Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card is asking what is coming to you in divine timing. And that could either be a frustrating sort of question because there might be something you're waiting on, but you sense that it's in divine timing and you can't really push it or influence it a lot. Or it could be something that unexpected that's going to come up that is divine timing. Or it could be something that you've kind of got planned and the divine is aligning with you, but there may be things to learn about it and understand about it even so. So that's the idea of the reading. We will look at what looks like the most likely timing or whatever spirit will tell us around that beyond that it's divine timing. And I'm using a particular deck for this to bring us into the reading and to set that sort of table for us, which is the Revolving Time Oracle. It's an oracle that I use around timing when people particularly want timing because I often think it's very hard to judge timing with tarot because the choices you make, other people make and so forth can shift timing even if it doesn't shift the ultimate outcome. But having said that, sometimes I find spirit or my spirit guide at least will commit to, it's going to be roughly in this sort of period of time or something like that. And it will also tell me when there's no way to commit that because there's so many other factors involved. So what is encouraging is that I shuffled and asked for an entry point for it to help with the choice of the pile. And each of them, it does actually have time period. So that is encouraging in as much, it might be that, if one of those time periods is a while away for you, you may think, oh, well, that's great, but that's a long time. But that may be modified a bit because we do have two other cards under here from the same deck. I don't know what they are, so it may bring it forward a bit more. It may say that this is more when you started wanting this or started feeling it come in, and then another card tells us when it does. Or there might be something that says, look, it's kind of this, but it's ambiguous and you might have a bit more influence over that. So we will be looking at how much influence you have and how you can influence and that kind of thing as well, because it is frustrating waiting on divine timing sometimes. But I am encouraged at least that it looks like Spirit is thinking for these readings that there is at least a ballpark figure. So that helps us in terms of what the timing is, and then we can concentrate a little bit more on what it is that's coming in that timing. So to help with the choice, hopefully, but of course go to more than one if you want. There might be more than one thing coming to you in divine timing, so that's perfectly fine. But to help with the choice, pile number one has grounding, card 30. This is broadly representative of the Queen of Pentacles, if that helps in the choice, and talks about fall season. Pile two has card number 5, the Hierophant broadly, and that talks about Taurus season, and pile 3 has card number 6, and that is roughly analogous to the Lovers card in tarot, and it talks about Gemini season. So hopefully that will help. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps as always in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome part one to your reading. So you came to the reading with the card, as I say, that kind of is broadly representative of the Queen of Pentacles. And that suggests to me that whatever this is about is something that is of Pentacles nature. So something material. It could be a commitment in a relationship. Otherwise, it's more likely to be something around career, property, the environment, those sort of earthy sides of things, health issues, if you're looking at health issues and sorting something out there. Now, what is interesting is in this deck, it has a kind of a will we commit to a timing, and this says maybe, or it can be also around questions. So I think that the funny thing is you got the Divine Time card came out. I think it's giving you some ballpark figures around this, but it is also saying that if this precedes that for where you are in the world, so if Virgo season, sort of around about September, precedes your fall season, then it's probably not going to be by Virgo season. It's probably going to be after that with no there. Otherwise, I think it would be saying it could be either of these. So it could, and they may be close together depending upon where you are in the world. So that gives you a broad idea, but this is definitely saying there's the divine is looking after this, but it's not going to be that precise for us as it maybe seemed at first. So this is maybe why we've got the maybe. The other thing I would also say is if you had something in mind when you were going towards this, if you got drawn to this and you were thinking about, will I buy a property at that time? Will I get a new job, etc.? You can also apply the maybe and the no to yes, no type questions. So it might be maybe around fall, not likely to be in Virgo season if there's any crossover of that, that kind of thing. So there's a number of ways of just looking at this to start with. But I would say that for most, there is something material here, and we'll look a little bit more into what it might be with tarot, but there's something material, and it's also because it's like the Queen of Pentacles and grounding, it is something that I think is around a commitment in some form, a commitment to a new job, a commitment to a place to live, a commitment to a health regime potentially around the Queen of Pentacles. It might be seeing the results of that, a commitment to a relationship, like in the sense that we're going to move in together or we're going to get married or whatever it might be. So there's something about that. And this is something I think that you really do care about. You are prepared to commit to that. And it's got a spiritual aspect in one way or the other, because this is roughly analogous to the hermit. Now, the interesting thing is it also talks about solitude. It may be, for some of you, this could be looking at a time where you get, your home back to yourself if you have people staying with you, or you get a chance to go on a holiday and just kind of go on a retreat and go within and with the sort of earth energies in both cases sort of have a sense of stabilizing your life or whatever. So it depends on what it is that you're hoping for in divine timing. But there is definitely a spiritual aspect to it, I would say, and a material aspect. But the divine is definitely looking after the rest. So there's a certain degree of control that you don't have. Now, we are going to look with tarot around whether there is anything you can do to influence it or not. Given that we got this, the answer may be that's fairly limited, but we'll see what we get. So we're going to look firstly a little bit more about what is this thing that's coming in divine timing. We'll look at your influence, and then we'll look at anything hidden that you will find when it happens that helps you understand why that was the perfect timing, the divine timing. So firstly, a little bit more about what this is all about. Page of Swords reversed, Three of Swords reversed, Page of Pentacles, Emperor, Four of Wands, the Moon reversed. Okay, so firstly, I mean, it is possible with the Page of Pentacles and the Emperor, this could be around a job. I think it depends on who's come to this reading. I think there's two ways of what this could be saying. One is it's around a job or a business or something like that. And you are able to establish that, start that. You'll have harmony with the people that you are dealing with, teams that you work with, teams that you might manage or whatever. And it may be that you have to leave somewhere else first, or that you need this security before you can leave. So here we have Page of Swords reversed. This could be being triggered by being in a workplace or doing something in your career that doesn't feel good, that you don't think is being clear or right, and you do need to separate, but you can't separate yet. You have to wait till you have something to go to. This would suggest that go within, there's sort of going to be sort of psychic energy and synchronicities and so forth that will help you see things. And the more you research and look into things and the more you use your networks, the quicker it will happen. So this is, I think the divine timing here is that it's moving you towards a better, and will be very good if it's around business or career, a very good step after maybe something that hasn't been good, or after looking for quite a long time and it's just really hard to find the right connection. Something's going to come to the surface that allows you to find that, but it's positioning you for the right job rather than just grabbing something, or the right business approach or whatever it might be. I think it's most likely to be that because it does connect in with other people. So this will be workmates, bosses, clients, that kind of thing. I don't think it's so much around buying a property or anything like that. If it is, you may have a good investment here and you may work with builders or whatever to have it grow. And it may be, if that's the case, if there's anyone that's the case, that you're drawn to this and you're thinking, I want to buy a property, do make sure you get all the checks. And this might be what sort of the divine timing. You're going to be by and large protected against a bad investment. But on the other hand, you do need to do your due diligence because it may not be clear up front. Don't just trust the marketing. So that's the kind of energy around it if it's around that. If it is around a relationship though, there is a very good basis again for this. And it may be that at first, and what is difficult at the moment is hard to get clarity with the person concerned. They may need to break up with someone, or you may need to break up with something. And again, things have to emerge. And going within, the hermit with the moon reversed here suggests that you'll be able to get the signs and so forth to move forward. But I do think it's very positive, and I do think that it will lead to some form of commitment. But because other people are involved, this very much makes me think other people are involved, then that's part of the reason why divine timing is looking after it. But even given that, let's ask, how much or how could you influence this to like have it happen quicker? Because it looks to me like it's something you want to happen. It's something that will be good, something that you want to happen. So apart from, as I say, maybe doing some due diligence and researching things a bit, what else could you potentially do to influence this? Six of Swords, Queen of Wands reversed, Nine of Pentacles reversed, Page of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it firstly again around if this is career or business or something, and then I'm going to talk about it if it's a relationship. So if this is career and business, for a start, it may be that you need to do some temporary roles or gig economy or have a side hustle or whatever until the right thing comes through. You are meant to do something here that's creative and to think creatively about how to make money and think creatively about who are your contacts for that. So it's a pretty obvious thing. If you want to start a business or you want to get a job, you can't just sit in your room and try and manifest it with a vision board. You actually have to apply for jobs or connect out with networks or whatever. So there's action to connect with others and possibly doing some temporary stuff. So if you're looking for the best job that you can commit to, this could be a very strong indication that if you went into an organization in a temporary role, they would eventually offer you something longer term. So don't think it has to be just one thing. There are particular ways by getting yourself out there that will happen. And it's thinking a little bit more positively about what you have to offer. This is suggesting that you're feeling, and maybe this is because of this energy, like either you're stuck in a workplace or doing something you don't want to do and you're sort of scared to move because you don't know what you've got to go towards. The other thing is to start to get really clear on what you have to offer and to not be too hard on yourself. I think you're being hard on yourself because the divine is saying here very clearly that there's a good opportunity coming for you and that you're ready for it and worthy of it, but you've got to kind of start to take action. So there's a certain amount you can do, very, very much so. Now, if this is around a relationship, it may be that it's early stages at the moment, partly if you're looking for a relationship, if you haven't found one, you've got to get out and meet people. But if it's not that, I think it's sort of the things to focus on is this the person you would want to be your people, and you have a passion for on a longer term. It might be, at the moment, you're yet to meet the right person that's going to be the click for the commitment. So again, go out with different people, see what happens. But again, you've got to get clear on what you have to offer because you have a lot to offer and you're actually downgrading yourself. So when this occurs, because this is saying this is coming, like whatever commitment, practical energy or whatever is coming, it is coming. It's just a matter of when. When it happens, what will emerge that was hidden that will tell you why it's the perfect time when it comes? Strength, the Magician, Six of Wands. Wow, okay. I do think for most of you this is going to be around something like career or a business. It feels more like that than a relationship, but either way. So again, looking at it as career or business. This is the Queen of Wands. When you find it, when you get offered this, I think if you broaden your horizons a bit and connect out with others, you're going to get opportunities to prove yourself and you'll be proven to be much more strong and skilled at something than even you give yourself credit for. You're going to win. It's like once you start to turn that Queen of Wands around, basically, all the skills that you have and all the strengths will work for you and you'll have choice at that point. In fact, you probably will have choice. That's what it's saying. Like when you get to that point, you'll have choice. Do I take this one or this one or this one? Because everything will have aligned. I used to find that in my career, and I know a lot of friends had a similar thing, that you just reach a point where if you started applying for jobs, you get offered 2 or 3 at them all at once, whereas at other times it just didn't click. And it was kind of like it was what your skills were at a level aligning with what was necessary at that time, and then you were in the comfortable position of making a choice. So I think That's what you'll realize when it actually happens. And you'll kind of know it's a divine timing if you're offered a couple of things, or if you're thinking about a business, there's a couple of options that you could pursue and you can choose which one you want to commit to. If it's a relationship, again, like it's like once you realize your strengths and abilities and get the communication clear, then it'll be very clear that you are in the position to make the decision. The person will definitely want to commit to you, so you will get to make the choice. So it's very positive overall, which is good. It's just that the timing depends a lot on you doing a bit of work at this point, getting out there and connecting and experimenting a bit, I think, so that you can see what your options are and you can feel more confident. Okay, so let's have a look at kind of almost chakra energy. Like what do you need to be aware of in this time between now and then to get into balance? And then we're going to get 3 cards for that. And then we're going to get a couple of cards for what might you meet in other people during this time as well too, between now and when it comes through in divine timing. So, I just dropped all the cards. So I'm just going to pause and pick them up. Okay, I'll shuffle again and try and be a little bit more careful this time. So first chakra around you at this time, we have balanced. I do have the ability to meet challenges. So yeah, you do trust yourself. You are able to do that. Remember, you have the strength. This is about remembering that you have that strength and utilizing it. Then we have the sacral chakra. I feel creative, balance. Okay, that's picking up the Page of Wands. Your creative energy, and creativity can be in many different things. It doesn't have to be an artist or whatever, though if that applies, then go forward with confidence. But otherwise, be creative in what you do. You can meet the challenges. You can do a whole range of different things. You actually have a lot of talents. And maybe you'll become even more aware of that over this time. And thirdly, we have the root chakra. I am disconnected. Yeah, I think that at the moment you're disconnected from your own creativity and your own strength and your own knowledge of yourself. That's why we have the Queen of Wands reversed. This is why we've got the Page of Swords reversed. So think about that, because it looks to me like if this is around career or something like that, you feel a little bit threatened about, will I be able to make the money that I need? Will I be able to be secure? Will I be able to get that kind of thing? And it's disconnecting you from all the things that you have. So try to reconnect back with that and trust that stuff is coming through, because this is saying something is going to come through. If it's around a relationship, then you have a lot of skill to be in this relationship, but maybe you're not feeling as connected to the other person, and that's what you have to focus on. So let's see. The key other people, whether it's one other person in a relationship or if it's clients or it's a new boss or people that you work with, whatever, what kind of energy in this period while you're heading towards the thing coming through in divine timing do you have to sort of be aware of in others? So we have a sacral chakra. I feel confident, balanced. Okay, so there are other people that are confident around here. And this could be, you should be feeling confident too. You're very strong, but maybe this is affecting it. Maybe others look like they're more confident than you. So I think you've got to get in touch with all the things that you can bring to the table. Then you are likely to win. Okay, and secondly, solar plexus, I do get narrow-minded. Okay, so, all right. So again, if this is around something like clients or a business or getting a job, you might be finding that some of the recruiters and hiring managers are a bit too narrow-minded to understand what you can bring to the table. That certainly is very true. It's a very kind of like compartmentalized sort of thing with recruitment. I can tell you from experience, heading up HR teams and so forth. You need to find the ones that can think laterally and see what you bring to the table. And there are other people you have competition for what you do, but you are able to do this. It wants you to know that. If it is around a love relationship, then the person you are interested in may be confident about the relationship, confident about themselves, but they may have a particular narrow view about the relationship. And this is interesting because it may be that you choose not to be with them and move on at that point to commit to yourself, or it may be that you have another person to choose from if you get out in the world a bit more and you find somebody who aligns more with what you do. Okay, so let's just get you a couple of signs to watch out for when it's getting close. So we're going to use the Lucid Dreams Metro deck, which is a dream deck. So it could show up in dreams, it could show up in synchronicities, it could show up in song lyrics. Just pay attention to it. It could be the feelings associated with the cards, but this is to give you an idea that it's getting close. Okay, first card is Clock, divine timing. When things seem to speed up a bit. When you're sort of like at the most worried really about it, that's when it's really starting to come in. And when you feel like a decision's coming up, like if it is looking for a job, it's probably going to be the options will come up just at the point where you feel like I've got to just take anything, and then it's going to open up and you'll have some choices. If this is around love, it's like, you know what? It's now or never. Make the decision. And you might have a little bit more influence on that really because of that energy. But when you feel like the time is here and I can't wait any longer, it looks like it comes through for you. Secondly, we have Phoenix, calming power, triumph over hardship. Yeah, renewal. Yeah, you're going to win. Like this is going to work out. It's probably at the very point where you feel like it's not going to, that it will. And this is why Spirit just wants you to start to trust and believe in yourself. That's why we have the Hermit card there. It's like go within and work out your skills and strengths and don't be dismayed. The right job, the right person, whatever this is going to come in and it's going to be very grounding and it's going to be very committed and it's going to be very secure. But it looks like it comes after stress and after like some soul searching, but you are meant to win. We're getting that kind of feeling. The phoenix rising from the ashes. We get all of that kind of feeling over and over in this reading. Okay, let's get you a planetary pairing for an energy to focus on or think about to have the most control you can over this situation. Okay, that makes sense. Sun and Mars. Think about what your life path is, what you want to do. That's why, again, the Hermit is important. Like this is about your life path. It is about passion in one form or another. Many of you, this is about work. And it will be getting that job that is right to take you forward on your life path. Think about that. What do you want to do with your life? If it's around a relationship, what kind of passion do you want that fits with you? That's the fundamental thing. It may, in fact, even be saying that you're with someone at the moment that you might care about, but you are so different and they're so narrow-minded that it's not going to get to that, in which case get out and meet some other people to bring the right energy in. So it depends, as I say, whether this is about love or whether it's about career and that kind of thing for you. And if it is about, I think if all of this is also about like physical health, then you might be doubting your own physical health and stamina, but the more that you do and the more you get out and meet people and exercise and do whatever it is, the more action you take, the quicker you get to it. The kind of sense of, yes, I feel healthy and I feel, solid and grounded within myself. Okay, so just to finish off, we're going to get a wild card from the Blue Dragonfly. So I'm just going to ask you to choose a number between 1 and 3 because depending upon which you choose, that will just give you another layer of information specifically for you within this collective reading. So pause if you need to because I'm about to deal out. For number 1, we have I am in balance, which is good. Like focus on where you're in balance in particular there. For number 2, we have final point. Okay, that picks up the Phoenix energy. This is interesting. And if you choose number 3, I am enlightened. Okay. It's all picking up different aspects of this. So if you chose number 1, the really big thing to be aware of, this talks about work management, prioritizing, pondering, everyday life. It's probably very likely to be around work, but it could also be around health if that was something that you were looking to sort of have some breakthroughs with. The really big thing here is focusing on what keeps you in balance and keeps you positive and understands the skills that you have. Looks a very skillful animal there, skillful like the magician. But focus in particular where you're balanced. And that's part of what's going to give you the breakthrough. If you chose number 2, then this impending feeling, like I'd say it's very close, very close. Or at least an idea of what it is and a clarity of what you would do is very close, even if the kind of broad timings like Virgo season or fall season are a little bit further out. This is about close, but it is saying game over, need to close. And at the beginning, it felt like something else had to be left that you haven't done yet to go towards what you want. And the transmutation picks up the Phoenix rising. And then if you chose number 3, I am enlightened, wisdom, spiritual knowledge, ability, expertise. This focuses a lot on the Hermit card. Probably focuses a lot on its timing, which was the Virgo season. So that may help you have a better idea about it. You're going to get spiritual downloads. You're going to understand this a lot more if you do go within. It's definitely saying that's the important thing. Overall, it's saying get out and connect with people and communicate, and that's important. But you also need to take time out and work out that you're on the right path and what you want from it, and just to kind of align it for you spiritually. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 2, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the card that I said is connected to the Hierophant and connects to Taurus season. So that would be potentially a time period where this will come in broad terms, or at least possibly with maybe there. Though maybe could also be, if you had a question, like a yes/no question around it, it could be saying maybe around that aspect of it. What I think is interesting is that you would probably hope for whatever this is to come in prior to that, because we have hope sitting here. And then we have Libra season, which from when I'm reading this, when I'm doing this reading, so actually it probably depends actually. If you're watching this roughly when I'm doing the reading or when I'm likely to publish it, then Libra season is pretty close. If you're watching this at some other time, because it's a timeless reading, one or other of these is going to be closer. And I would say you hope for the closer of the two. And I think that from Spirit's perspective, whether you are happy to hear this or not, it's kind of like they're like, well, it's going to go somewhere in that time period, but it's almost like neutral, or maybe it could go either way. And Spirit is more concerned that when it occurs, it brings wisdom and a balance karmically for you. So this kind of connects actually in with justice, rather than say the judgment card, which I might have thought of as karma, but like it's more like bringing something into balance. Certainly if you have anything legal associated with it, it's more likely to be in that timing, I would say. If it's something spiritual, more likely in that. But either way, I think there is a hope that it happens quicker. Or whatever. It could be the other thing. It could be something you're developing and you actually want it to take time, in which case the longer period away. So you have some hopes around it, but I think Spirit's kind of like it's going to happen when it's going to happen, and it will happen at the best time for you, because there's some big ticket issues associated with this, whether it's an important relationship, an important career thing, an important spiritual awakening or next step, whatever the situation is. It has some pretty big ramifications. And so it's probably better to hope for the best outcome from a sort of spiritual and kind of balanced, karmic, legal, whatever it is, situation than worrying about the timing. So let's see a little bit more about what this is about, what is coming in divine timing that would touch on those aspects. Then we're going to have a look at what influence you do have, because sometimes we have a bit of influence even with divine timing, or what we could do to nudge it along a bit, particularly if you do hope for it sooner rather than later. And then we'll have a look at what's sort of hidden in it at the moment, which when it happens, you're going to understand why it was divine timing. So firstly, just a little bit more about what this is. Have the Knight of Wands, Two of Cups reversed, Justice, Justice, Justice. There could be something legal associated with this. Wild card, Seven of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. Okay, firstly with the wild card showing up, that's a card that is almost like divine timing. It's like something's got to come out of the liminal, and you may not, something that you don't even factor into this is coming out of it. So that's one of the reasons why it's, you can hope around timing, but you've got to allow that Spirit knows what it's doing, because there's still something that's forming in the liminal space that you may not even be thinking about or can't see yet. But it will impact things. What it is saying, though, is something that you dream for and you hope for. So there is a hope trying to form for you. So I think that the divine is also saying, we may not be able to fully bring you it in the timing that you want, but what you really hope for, that is what we're trying to form for you. But we have to do it with wisdom around the implications and consequences of it, and it has to be balanced and fair. So they're sort of saying there, and if it's legal, it has to be at the right sort of timing for the best legal outcome. So there's something like that going on. Now, it also has to do with something that you're trying to perfect, some skills that you're trying to get, or something that you are more than happy to put a lot of like concentrated effort into making the best as possible. So I think that the divine is saying, we get you have a dream. It may have some legal or balance or intellectual things to sort out, and we're working on that, and you should be thinking about the consequences and the wisdom and all that kind of thing of it. But, like we know that you're prepared to put the hard yards in, and so we're heading towards giving you that opportunity. It could be around love because we have the Knight of Wands and the Two of Cups reversed here, so it could be that this is bringing in sort of a better relationship than ones that you've had in the past if you haven't been happy. Otherwise, there could be a move associated with it, which is interesting, like to find the right job or to find the right person. Knight of Wands can mean moving on from the wrong sort of relationships, moving on from somewhere that you live to give you more opportunities. But whatever it is coming through. Some of you, it could be that there is literally a legal split that has to occur first, whether it's business or love. But whatever you're dreaming of, it's trying to say to you, we recognize you'll do the work to do this. We recognize that you've got the commitment to the wisdom of it all. So we are going to move it as fast as possible, but there are some things that have to happen. So what can you do to influence this, pile 2? Eight of Wands, King of Pentacles, King of Cups reversed, Ace of Wands, Page of Swords. Okay. So look, I think we're dealing here with like a dream you want to bring in, dream relationship, dream job, dream spiritual awakening, whatever it is. And this is saying there is something you need to free yourself from. You need to, like, it could be freeing yourself from a material thing that's become comfortable, but is actually constraining you and stopping you from dreaming anymore. It could be from a relationship that was committed, but it's not lasting anymore, and you need to kind of heal that so that you can find new love and connect with the right people. It could be a spiritual awakening that frees you from the material side of things and heals your creative energy and brings that forward so that you can communicate something out into the world. It just depends on what this is, but it's a dream you have that requires a liberation from the comfortable, the secure, or maybe something that was comfortable and secure and isn't anymore. Like there is a movement away energy from something that was established to something new. There's a healing energy, like what do you need to heal to make that happen? And then there's the new wish to communicate and connect and to act to make that occur. So you do have quite a bit of influence on this. This is why the divine is saying, like, yeah, we see that you have the spiritual, sorry, not the spiritual, the skills-based and the commitment energy to do this. And once you start to really act towards something and move towards something and act as though freedom is your birthright to then pursue what you want, that's when you can start to bring this in. So what is hidden from you at the moment that will make sense as to how the divine was directing the timing when this actually happens? Seven of Swords reversed, the Tower reversed, Queen of Wands, six. Okay. What this is saying is that underneath everything, the other thing that you have, but you're not really thinking about it, but it goes back to the wisdom energy here, is that you do kind of know, you're realistic that whatever this change is, you'd like to do it like overnight, just really fast, but it's an incremental thing. Certain things have to occur and they're going to take time. It's also being done and handled in a way so that nothing falls apart. Like the Tower upright, when there's all this sort of energy, you might have everything falling apart before you can rebuild. So this isn't going to require you to be phoenix-like rising from the ashes. This is a steady, step-by-step, realistic change, and the timing is realistic. Because whatever is new that's coming in, and it is what you're hoping for, but it's still just the beginning of the journey. And the divine wants you to be confident that you can go forward with whatever this new thing is without having a set course already worked out. Because you've almost kind of I've gone through the other changes that I need to do, and I know that I can do that, and I'm confident to do it. And if it had just suddenly fell on your lap, you probably have felt a bit more disoriented. So this allows you to set up, not only, this is the healing aspect, not only working out what you don't want from a current situation, what you're moving away from, but also to gradually start to kind of almost put flesh on the bones of the dream, so that the fact that when it comes into being, you can be a little lost to start with because you have the confidence to move forward. Okay, so let's see, in terms of confidence and things like that, what's going on chakra-like energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 cards for chakra energy you need to be aware of, but until such time as this comes into being. And then we're also going to get a couple of cards around chakra energy you might experience from others to be aware of in that time as well. But firstly for you, this one is the third eye. I see and learn from my experiences, balance. So yeah, this is what it's saying, that it's like you might hope for it happening faster, but what you really should be focusing your hope on is the dream and being prepared to put the commitment in. And then you get this energy and you realize how strong you are. Secondly, I have heart chakra. I love and I forgive, balance. So yeah, if this is about moving on from a relationship and finding one that is better, it's not going to be everything falling apart. It's like doing it naturally. And otherwise, it's sort of like in whatever you're trying to do, having that kind of approach is a very balanced heart approach to have. And we have solar plexus. I do have to be right, overactive. Okay, so that's something to think about because you could get too rigid in what you want. Part of what I think the divine is trying to do here is slow it down enough that you actually do it step by step and you understand, what is being deconstructed to be then able to construct the dream. And like, it's more important again to be heading towards the dream, not to be absolutely right, and to take it step by step. It's okay. You can course correct so that you don't get obstinate about what it is. It allows you all the openings that you need to bring it into being. So what might you experience from others? So firstly, solar plexus. I do get hyperactive. Okay, so some people around you may want it to go faster too, particularly if this is something that you want to work with other people on, a business or something in a career. So be aware that you need to pace this because some of the energy around you is going to want decisions and choices quicker than you're ready for. And we have sacral chakra. I feel constant fatigue, underactive. Okay, you might also find that you are going to be a leader in the end. This is something you're going to realize in whatever it is, whether it's in a love relationship, a career thing, whatever it is, because it looks as though the people that are around you rev up and then slow down, rev up and then slow down. So they're all over the shop. So it's really important. That's probably why you have to love and forgive, to just take things step by step. But also to realize like you could get into a lot of conflict with this sort of energy. And it's really, people around you are, and it could be two different types of people too, and that could be that you're dealing with both. But if this is typical of the sort of people and they are both, they're going to either be wanting to do everything tomorrow or they're just not going to want to connect. I would be saying the best thing you could do with this is try and focus on the dream where you are either the lone person, and it doesn't matter if you have to be right because it's you, or that you kind of like take on most of it, because if you're worrying about like delegating or sharing or collaborating, you might find that there's a lot of push and shove energy operating with this. Okay, so let's see some synchronicities that might tell you that you're getting close to your dream coming into reality. So this could be in dreams, it could be in meditation, it could be in song lyrics you hear, it could be in walking past somebody with a t-shirt with a picture like it, like whatever it is, just pay attention to the synchronicities. So the first one, lips or mouth, expressing, ingesting, sensitivity, sensuality, intimacy, connection. Well, certainly if this is around love, there's some pretty obvious sort of signs that you would get with lips. But beyond that, if it's around, career or spiritual or whatever it is that you're looking for, I think it's people are going to say things, or you are going to feel ready to express things. Those are the things to look out for. But, like sometimes we see like big sort of like icons of, iconography of lips or whatever. If you suddenly see that and you're thinking about something in terms of it, pay attention to what you're thinking about. And secondly, we have neon sign. Okay, it's going to be pretty obvious, pile 2. Like it's kind of basically, and ambition, fame, glamour, wealth, success, travel, particularly I would say if this is around something that you want to do, creatively or in your career or in some way like that. And like if you're looking for legal outcomes, it's going to be very clear and you are likely to be successful. So I don't think you're going to have to look for a lot of, I don't think like the signs are necessarily going to be subtle. You just have to be prepared to take the steps to get there. Okay, so let's see if we can help you with a planetary pairing that might give you a focus for this. Moon and Neptune. Okay, a lot of this is very spiritual. So going to Hierophant and the more karmic side of this. Do pay attention. For all that the signs are going to be pretty obvious, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your intuition. Like it will tell you a lot. And believe in it, because sometimes when you have something like hope and you have that sort of energy, you may feel, is this all very ephemeral? Look for the signs, because they will clearly keep you going, because this is realistic. Seven of Swords reversed. You're going to find out the dream was always much more realistic than you thought. But you may sometimes doubt that. So go with the intuition that takes you forward. But if you start to doubt because of that, because hope is a bit of a fragile energy, it can, like, we can suddenly lose it. Don't lose hope. Go back to remembering that this is realistic. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get a wild card to give the more focused part of this in the collective reading for you. So I want you to choose a number between 1 and 3, because depending upon which you choose, that will be your sort of synthesizing message around this. So pause if you need to, because I'm about to deal out. Okay, for number 1, gold. Oh, wow. Wow, okay. For number 2, the messenger. And for number 3, veiled truth. Okay, all right. They kind of fit a lot with the energy that we started with. So pile number 1, not pile number 1, like choice number 1, this could be very spiritual. If this is a spiritual thing, this is an alchemical spiritual breakthrough. And it's going to be much more probably than you expect. And it's going to, like, there's a great leap of growth around wisdom, karma, all those sort of energies. So it's okay. It's realistic to hope for that, because this is like the alchemist card. Eye on the prize, opportunities, financial freedom, alchemy. Any of those things, if you're aiming for them, it's saying you're going to be successful. If you chose number 2, I think there's probably a messenger. It could be a spirit guide, but it could also just be a person that's going to be important. Need to talk, speed, communications. Keep an eye out for key people to talk to and communicate with around this. That could speed things up for you. If you chose number 3, veiled truth, not said, hidden secrets, inner research, levels of reality, I think this is really clicking into the Hierophant energy here. So look for what is under the surface. Look also for what you have not said or not thought or not believed in, and allow yourself to hope for it, because there's sort of like something very deep in this for you that you can access. It's also got something to do with duality if you've chosen this one, because you've got the black and white checkerboard floor. I think it's like understanding that within any hope or dream you have, to make it realistic, you have to see kind of the duality of white and black. You have to see the dark and light, all of that kind of thing, and look for the kind of subtle energy underneath all of it and how it connects to your inner wisdom, your karma, your balance, that sort of thing. So I hope it resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading. So as I said in the introduction, you've chosen the one with the card that's connected to the Lovers and the Major Arcana. That could very well mean that you did that deliberately, because this is about relationship of some form. Lovers doesn't have to be romantic. It can be any type of relationship. So if that's the case, then I would suggest the most likely timing around what it is that you want to come in with or have clarified or whatever it might be is around Gemini season. So depending on when you see this reading, it either will be a fair way away in terms of months, or it could be quite close. I would think when I'm likely to publish this, it's probably at least 6 months away, if not longer. But as I say, it depends on when you see this, because this is a timeless reading. On the other hand, it could be winter season for you. Now, those two things may correlate where you are, Gemini season and winter season, but if they don't, it may give you a couple of ways that things could occur. What I feel, and the moon phases here says that it's going to happen fairly quickly, and there's a lot of changeability in it, which also makes me feel this is much more likely to be around a relationship, love relationship or friendship, or something that has quite a bit of emotional impact to it. Could be spiritual as well, but probably fairly fast moving once it starts. So I would almost look into this as like, if Gemini season is the closest, then by the following winter season, it will have worked out and it will operate fairly fast and go through a number of phases. On the other hand, if winter season is earlier, then it'll go in that direction to Gemini. Either way, there's a lot around communication, what you believe about things, how you connect, because of the air energy around this. So it's more and this is the Page of Swords, this is curiosity. So it's more getting to know someone, getting to know the possibilities within a relationship, whatever it is that I think is being talked about here. But it could be a work relationship. It could be sorting out something in a family relationship. It could be a friendship, or it could be a love relationship. But it's got to do with the meeting of the minds. It's got to do with joint beliefs or not. And I almost feel with the way I'm looking at that, with the two characters looking away from each other, I think, and because we've got air in both, I feel like one of the two has to look in the other person's direction and see it from a different perspective, whether that's you need to see the other person's perspective or they need to see yours. There's something about a coming together of perspectives or beliefs. And there is, as I say, it may go up and down a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at what... Oh, and if you have a kind of broad yes, no around this, it's always been in your head, like is something going to sort out or not, I would say the answer is yes to whatever that question is, because we've got yes twice there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look a little bit more about what is this about, what is coming in divine timing. It has something to do with a meeting of the minds or communication or a belief system in a relationship of some sort, I think, is what this is clearly about, but also how the emotions affect that, affect communication and affect beliefs and so forth. Then we'll have a look at what you have influence over, even if this is in divine timing. And then we'll have a look at what is hidden about this that will become clear when it does come in divine timing. So you sort of understand what the divine timing was all about. So firstly, for you, for what the divine timing is about, Page of Pentacles, the Hermit reversed, Five of Pentacles, the Lovers reversed. Oh, that's interesting. Three of Wands reversed, Four of Cups. Okay. So this suggests that in whatever this is, and it could be around work for some of you with Page of Pentacles, but that could just be around looking for things that have a solid grounding. You have been spending time coming out and connecting with people, or you will start to do that for this, because it looks as though you felt a bit lonely, a bit detached. If it's around the right connections for work, you might also have a material, you need to start to make some money if it's been got a bit difficult, that's been a bit difficult. But because this is so much around relationship, I feel like this is that this has to do with you connecting with at least one other, perhaps a number of others. And one of the things that you have to sort out, and this is why it's saying curiosity or whatever, is finding either the right person if you're looking for love, or the right people if you're looking for connections, because some will be right and some will not be on the same path as you. So it's sort of saying the divine timing is I think, to bring in a connection that does make you feel more grounded, you've got a commitment with somebody, whatever type of relationship it is, and that you are aligned in beliefs and direction. But it's like the divine timing is all about you sorting that through with the people who are around you and working out, using the moon phases, I think, where there are emotional blocks that might actually tell you something about whether there can be an alignment of belief and mind or not. So I do think that the divine timing here is almost sorting through and sifting through relationships around you, whatever type of relationships we're talking about, to find the better connection. Because at the moment you either feel isolated, or that you're not finding people who are like you, or not heading in the same direction, or there isn't a meeting of the minds. So the divine timing is to bring that in, and it will take whatever time it takes. But there is a hint here that it could move very quickly once you maybe go into this curiosity phase and you start to get out in the world and meet more people. I think that's the sort of energy it's talking about. So given that, what can you influence? The Fool, or the Dreamer in this deck. Four of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, King of Wands reversed, Justice. Okay, all right. So of all the readings, this is the one that's most specifically about relationships with people. And as I say, it doesn't have to be love relationships, but it's got to do with that. Getting out. It's just saying get out in the world, see more people, meet more people, connect with more people. Just be curious about that. Like whether that's literally, open the door, go out and meet people in the community, or whether it's get online or whatever, but it's like getting out. It's saying that you actually have a really good foundation because your heart is really pure. You know what good relationships are. It's like you don't have to sort that out. You've just got to find the right connections. It's also saying you may have a tendency, you've either got someone around you who's very bossy or a bit narcissistic, and you've got to kind of either bring that into balance or decide to move away from it. or bring clarity to that in conversation to see whether that is really what that person is like, or whether it's just you're not communicating properly. Or you might have a tendency to be drawn to that kind of charismatic person who gets a bit bossy. So it's also asking you to protect your heart by, again, the air energy. I think justice is very air oriented. It's very much like, what do we think? What do we believe? What are the facts? You know, having that, like having a sense of, I'm always going to be looking for balance and a meeting of the minds. I'm not just looking for some people who are exciting, but possibly very selfish. Like there might be something like that associated with it. And you may have made those sort of choices before, either in love or in friendship, where it's always that person's direction that matters. So this is asking you to look for somebody who mutually is interested in the direction you want to go in. Okay, so what will you learn about this when the divine timing comes through that makes it clear why the divine was taking its time around it all? Six of Cups reversed, King of Swords reversed, okay. The Chariot, Ten of Swords. Okay, I've got to say, I think this is all very clear, pile 3. I think you'll know if this is your pile. You have to change the way you connect to people, whether this is in love or whether it's in friendships or whether it's in work. Like you have a tendency to be drawn to people who are very bossy and maybe not that honest. So you need to find other people who are open, honest, fair, and who are just as interested in other people as in themselves. I think you've just had this tendency to get drawn to that. And there could be all sorts of reasons for that. It could be that you need to build confidence for yourself. It could be because you came from a narcissistic family. But whatever it is, there needs to be a big shift. Like what the divine is bringing in is much better connections that are honest and are open and all of those sort of things. This is very much the energy you've been in with a lot of people, because you just have a tendency to be drawn to these sort of people. So it's not you. Let me tell you that. It's not you. Beyond the fact that you're drawn to those sort of people, you're drawn to the sort of people who are never going to be really connected and mutually. They're not interested in anyone other than themselves, to be honest. So you've got to shift that. Then you're going to move forward. Then the drama that you tend to have and the emotional energy and the ups and downs in relationships will shift. So think about why it is that you might be attracted to those people, because I suspect it's a side of you that you really have, but you're not acknowledging. Not that you're narcissistic or dishonest. What I'm saying is that I think they seem very smart, very sure of themselves, very confident. And I think it's like, just be confident about that. Know that you're enough, so that then you're curious and learning about people rather than feeling like you've got to just follow what they say. So there's a big thing here where the divine wants you to have people who are more supportive of you and more truly collaborative, whether it's in love or in friendship or whatever it might be. It's a big shift that's meant to happen here for you, because you've kind of got stuck and it goes round and round and round, which is the other thing that moon phases could be indicating. Okay, so given that, let's have a look at some chakra balance for you. We're going to get 3 cards for chakra energy to be aware of until this all comes through, when you found the relationships that are right for you. Then we're going to get 2 cards for what you might be meeting from other people. Now, it could be these sort of people or it could be the new people. So let's see what we get. So firstly, for you, crown chakra first. I sense my higher self. That's balance. Okay, yeah, trust. I mean, you trust your higher self. Trust that and listen to your higher self. Because then you're less likely to follow others. Second energy is sacral chakra. I feel unsexy. Okay, yeah, you're not, you feel like the sexuality, all that kind of energy is coming from the other people. You are much more attractive than you think. Like there's because what I can tell you about King of Wands reverse and King of Swords reverse types, they don't, whether it's in love or in other things, they don't hang around people that they don't think make them look good. So know that for yourself. Know that if you feel that way, that you do whatever will make you feel more attractive and more sort of, vibrant and all that kind of thing, because others are seeing it in you, but you're not seeing it in you. You're looking for it in other people. That's part of the issue. And then we have root chakra, underactive. I'm not taking care of my physical resources. Okay, and you might have even like kind of gone into kind of hermit mode and not gone out and not thought about that. So, even just going out and having a really nice meal with friends and, getting a haircut or whatever makes you feel good would actually help, because it's sort of like self-care is important here, so that you're valuing yourself and you're coming from that space. What will you meet in others? So we have the throat chakra. I talk, but I fear expressing myself. Okay. So you may find other people like yourself once you do that. You may find that sometimes these people seem very confident, but they're not, and you can get under that and you can actually get to something real. Or you may find that the really genuine people are the ones who aren't busy telling the world how wonderful they are. They're the ones that, you can kind of nudge and draw out and find the connection. And we have heart chakra. I love, but I can struggle saying no, overactive. Yeah, there's others like you, I think. I think that you are very giving and you are very open to others and not as confident as you should be. And I think it's sort of like saying find some others like that, because the two of you together, whether it's in love or friendship or whatever, you're going to really help each other, because it's like it's a similar thing. It's just that you're sort of drawn to the ones that seem very, very confident. But that at the moment that has the more negative effect on you. Okay, so let's see what kind of signs and synchronicities will tell you that you're getting there. I mean, I think to some degree you'll know, because you've enacted some of the curiosity, you'll be connecting with other people and you'll be finding different sort of relationship energies. But like, pay attention if you see either of these cards, the signs and symbols and synchronicities, pay attention to what you're thinking or doing at the time, because it'll tell you something. So firstly, we have arm, reaching, taking action, holding, embracing, boundaries, flexibility. Yeah, I think this is reaching out, saying hello, connecting, others who reach out to you as well. Good firm handshake, what does that tell you? And that kind of thing. And secret room, self-discovery, personality, memories. Okay, when you start to feel that when you do this, you're going to find all these things within yourself that you've maybe forgotten about or hidden or not even believed. It's bringing things to the surface. It's bringing light to it. That's actually something else. Moon phases, the moon gets its light reflected by the sun. So this is also saying you're meant to find your own sun. It's sort of like you go within and you find who you are and you bring that out and connect. And that's going to be better than kind of feeling like the reflected light of others that you're around. Okay, let's get an astrology energy, a planetary pairing that can also help you. Jupiter and Pluto. Yeah, this is meant to really expand for you and really transform you and bring your own power out. Understand you have a lot of power. You have a lot of kindness, you have a lot of generosity. All of these things are wonderful, but they can be exploited. The thing is now to back yourself, find the people who want to be in a balanced relationship, whatever type it is, so that you expand and transform and you also help them. So it is meant to be a very transformative time to, as I say, break with the past, to break old patterns. Okay, so to finish off, we're just going to get a wild card from the blue dragonfly deck. So I'm going to deal out 3 cards. So think of a number between 1 and 3, and that will be your synthesizing message. Pause if you need to, because I'm about to deal out. So for number 1, I am impulsive. For number 2, I am searching. And for number 3, wow, quantum field. All right, so for number 1, I am impulsive, competition, take the risk, hasty action. For people who've chosen number 1 in this, you may be around, maybe one of the reasons is King of Swords and King of Wands reverse turn up, is that you're around very competitive people. And you may be impulsively drawn to that because there's a side of you that kind of knows that you are competitive with those people. You could sort of like be at their energy, or maybe even be more authentically what it is they're presenting themselves as. But I think that Spirit is saying here that take that impulsivity and put it into curiosity. Don't commit to connections until you know more. Then you'll understand without taking, that's the amount of risk to take, because then you'll be able to understand what's actually going on and whether you want connections with those people. For number 2, I am searching, initial project, learning, training, blessing of loneliness. I think this is saying that it is time to come away from being alone or feeling different and see this as an exploration. Its curiosity is very important to this. Very important. You will find the right connections, but you won't till you start to search for what is right for you. And if you chose number 3, quantum field, source, endless possibilities, opening, once you do this, the amount that you're going to learn about yourself and the types of connections you make, you're going to shift it completely. Like, it's literally like shifting quantum fields, shifting timelines, all that kind of thing. Like it really breaks old patterns profoundly, and you're going to learn what power you have within connections once you look upon it as something where you're exploring and making a decision once you get to know the person and they get to know you a bit better. So you put yourself back in the driver's seat. So I hope that that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.